Hi, this is Dr. Parikh. So what to expect when you get feedback for your literature review? What I've been doing lately, the last couple semesters, is having a final meeting with students where I go sit down with them, go through their final research proposal paper, talk about their strengths and weaknesses as a writer, talk about kind of where to go from here, what steps to take in the future. I ask them what their interests are for grad school, if any, and for career, and we talk about how writing is going to be a piece of that, and what sorts of things they should expect to do to get the skills they need, both for school and for the later career. And I really suspect that students have been learning more in that half-hour meeting than they have the rest of the semester. And I want to move that learning earlier, and I want to give you more of it because I think that's one of the really powerful parts of the course. So that's part of why I've scaled back the feedback I give along the way in comments and things, like written comments, and instead left lots of room to have these two very impactful, high impact meetings to talk about your paper. For my on-campus classes, I'm just going to require you to meet with me. I'll make sure that there's several times during class, and that's just a requirement. You need to meet with me in person. For my online students, I do encourage you to meet with me. If you could make it to my office and meet, that's great. I know a lot of you are, you're taking this along with several on-campus classes. If you can't meet with me in person, I would see if we can set up a time to FaceTime, or I usually use Zoom software, but to do a video chat where we can look at your paper at the same time. We can use Google Docs for that, or we can use screen sharing. There's different options. And I'll make a few physical comments or change a few things as we go just to help you track, but a lot of it is me going to be pointing out what's working well and what's not, and kind of looking at the progress of your paper and talking about where to go from here. For the online class, I don't remember offhand actually if I have you meet with me for the research proposal at the end. I imagine that I probably do. Now I'm confused. Maybe not. I think because the end we're usually in a time crunch, so I might just give you some final feedback. I really am trying to move that big feedback to earlier on. So if you absolutely can't meet with me, what I'll do is I'll make a screencast, so very similar to the videos that you're used to watching, except instead of for everyone, it's going to be sent just to you. So I'll still upload it to YouTube, just because videos take up a lot of space, and I'll send you a link, but I'll make sure that it's a private video, that you have to have the link to view it. I might even set it up so you have to be signed into your Caldwell email to see it. And I do that because I can just talk so much faster and more clearly than I can write. And I can kind of bip through and I can click the screen and it shows up on my screencast. So you will get the rubric. We'll go through the rubric together. But you'll also get comments and feedback, and we'll have a bit of an ongoing, a back and forth. We are still limited to a certain amount of time. And so it's not, I could spend easily 2 hours on these papers with students. I try to limit myself to 20 to 30 minutes just to respect your time and to keep it manageable for me to give the same quality of feedback to everyone in my classes. But I think I'm excited to expand this to online students and to move it earlier in the semester. I think it's awkward as all get out to think about doing it, but in person it's actually gone really well. Students have typically responded really well, and it's been a nice little way, sort of an ending ritual. But like I said, I really think so much learning happens there that it's silly to have it right at the end. So I've moved it to the literature review paper instead. So after you're done, just like you write up reflections for your tutoring, you're going to write up a reflection for this. And I think I probably copied some of this directly from what I write up for the tutoring. So you'll turn it in. I'd like to see it about 24 hours after you and I meet, within that time frame. But it's due by Sunday, October 6th at the last, for students taking it fall 2019. So how do you book an appointment? Well, I have here, I added it in so it's not in some of my earlier videos, But there's a link here to meet with me. Also, under instructor information, there were always instructions on how to meet with me, and my syllabus has that also. But I try to make a nice little handy link that you can just click. And I'm signed in right now, so it's showing my Caldwell calendar. So whatever you're signed in as, when you click it, it will show that calendar. You could change what you're signed in, but the cool thing is you can see, for example, I have a little message on my calendar telling me when my son hit certain developmental milestones. That's the only thing on my calendar, on my work calendar this week, but it shows your actual calendar. So it's the summer. I don't have any appointments yet. But if you come down to when I actually have stuff going on, you'll see that in the background it shows, this is all my calendar. Not like if I switch to a different sign-in calendar, it would show different stuff. What shows up from the instructor calendar, which is also my calendar, from the appointment booking, are these little boxes that say office hours. Now, when you go into, if you're just wanting to book a regular, like you just want to meet with me to talk about something, this is typically what you'd see. But when you go to schedule for your literature review, you'll probably see lots of other boxes that say, like, online class or PS 213, 525 only. So I will open up. So, the office hours are my contract with the university. I have to offer this time, and I have to be there regardless of whether people are planning to come or not. So I try not to offer, I try not to open up tons and tons of that just on an ongoing basis, because then I would be obligated to be here. If someone wants to schedule an appointment, we usually just work together to find a time if my office hours don't work. But for when I have people coming in, when I have registration week with my advisees, when I have students from classes coming in for feedback, I will open up as much time as I possibly can to give you flexible options. That doesn't mean that you can book 3 appointments in a row so that you get an hour-long feedback, because it's just not sustainable. If I can't do it for everyone, it's not fair to do it for you. And that's why I refer students to the Writing Center if they want more feedback. Here, I usually do 20-minute appointments for my office hours, and tell people if you want to book more, you can, but if there's a bunch of other people waiting and you've booked, 2 or 3 in a row, I'm going to work them in also. Usually, I will probably schedule 30-minute sessions that are when I dedicate one specifically for going over the literature review. I'll have to see what I want to do, but I think I'll do 30 minutes probably. But you can look for the ones that specifically, you can book during office hours if you're doing this. Office hours are free for all for everyone. But you'll see ones that are designated specifically for you, which means other people. So people from other classes or who want to meet for advising issues, those times are open for you, not for them. So you can always book office hours, and you can, if you see things that say advisees only or registration appointments, please don't book those. Look for what I've opened up for your issues. And again, if if you're looking and the office hours aren't working for you, I wonder why there should be office hours here that aren't showing up. You'll have to fix that. Oh no, they're up here. I just wasn't scrolling right. So I'm sorry. I'm going a little batty. But if you do need to meet with me for this or for something else and none of the times work, send me an email, suggest 2 or 3 times that would work for you, and we'll go from there. I'm almost always, especially if you give me a week's head notice. So if you have very limited time to meet, schedule this appointment really, really early, like in advance. Even 2 weeks in advance, or even if you're really tight, if there's just a few time blocks you can meet, contact me, the first week or 2 of the semester if you can, and say I need to schedule ahead. That's it. Thanks. Bye.